February 23, 2026. This is the S&P 500 E-futures mini on the 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. This is what the chart looked like today. Pretty much a 100-point drop. Well, excuse me, not a 100-point drop, a 100-point move. So in the pre-market, also there was no economic data that came out today. Also, I didn't take a trade today. There weren't very many setups that looked high probability. There were a couple of setups, but unfortunately I missed them. So in the pre-market, there was a sell-off. Looks like it's two legs up, creates the high of day. Then there's this big flush down. Now this is probably described as maybe two legs. This blue one, and this yellow one, two. Hits the low of day, bounces. Looks like there's two legs up. Another pretty much shallow sideways down, break to the low, rally up, two legs down, kind of choppy into the close. So overall, it looks like in the pre-market, it spiked up, sold off, then you could argue it's pretty much just moving sideways. It failed to break down below and make new low day. So it created higher lows each time, but these higher lows are so far apart, it's hard to really believe that, okay, maybe the market's reversing. Plus, after each higher low, it makes a higher high until it doesn't. Then it just kind of you know, loses steam right here. So there's no trades for me today, but I'm going to go into the setups right now. I didn't mean to do that. Go ahead and bring that back. Crazy zooming. Okay, here we go. As I said, there's a sell-off, break of the orange down channel, test the low, two legs down, pushes up. I thought there was well, I didn't see this in real time. I saw it after the fact. I thought there was a green leg up, break. It looks like it's going to test the high, bounce off the EMA. It's a failed second entry short. So first entry short, second entry short. That's a decent trade. If this had formed in the regular trading hours, maybe it would have been worth a shot. Now, even though this candle made a new high, it closed really strongly, engulfed all the candles before it. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It engulfs all 6 previous candles, and although it made a new high, I think if this showed up during regular trading hours on no news, this would have been worth a trade to take. Then pushes up, first entry long, second entry long, kind of sells off. Then it pushes up what I initially thought might have been this green up channel, but then actually it looks like it fits better as this yellow up channel. And then here, there's really no clean setups. There is a localized high and was creating the high of day, creates a first entry long pullback, second entry long. Second entry long is confirmed on this red candle, but it's a bad follow through because the signal bar isn't that great either because it pulled back and closed here. The follow through wasn't that convincing. Pushes up, makes the high of day. This is actually the high that it's ever going to be for today. Then it sells off on this yellow down channel break, pushes once, pushes twice, no clean setups. I initially thought it might have been in a trading range. I'm going to darken it in as red. So it's a new low. It's a first entry short. Technically, you have a second first entry short right here because this green candle breaks below this guy, but it's so tiny and it engulfs this guy. I just assumed or just read it as one leg down instead of 1, 2. Plus, this is inside to this, so it just kind of keeps taking away from the attractiveness of a potential setup. So it's a first entry short. Again, you might have counted this as a second entry short here if you saw it as a visual first, second, but it just looks like one leg up, one leg down. So no real setups here. You could get really zoomed in on the nitty gritty, but context-wise, it just doesn't look like there's anything there. There's a fail breakout here. First entry short just kind of keeps going back down. It gets to here, breaks out of this range. I initially thought we're in potentially this blue down channel, which I first actually established with 1 touch, 2 touch, kind of drifted, and it had an overshoot here, but the downside fit pretty well. 1 touch, 2 touch right here, 3 touch, 4 touch. So I thought we're trading in this blue down channel. It actually sets up for a possible trade, but I didn't take. It's a localized low. It's a first entry short, pullback, second entry short. I thought this is a decent setup. Break of this green up channel. It might want to test the high, but I was believing in the strength of this blue channel's resistance because there's a fail breakout here. I'm thinking it's moving back in. This is a strong engulfing bar to this. Actually, I take that back. It's not quite engulfing. It's 1 tick shy of this, but it has a strong close. I thought there's enough momentum for a quick 1-point scalp. Now, I'm typically right now thinking of going 6 ticks, but depending on what the ATR is and how price action is moving, I might reduce it down just to 4 ticks to be conservative, just to get in and out of the trade, and how much room there is to the highs or the lows of wherever I'm entering. And prices continue down, creates a new low, first entry short again, first entry short. Looks like it's fitting well in this blue down channel because it has a fourth or fifth confirmation, depending how you counted it. Then it hits this sideways, and this is just noise right now because it's just a candle side by side. I'm not trying to trade any of that. Breaks out of this blue down channel. I'm going to go ahead and change this actually to yellow just to make it easier to see and distinguish between this larger gray one. This larger gray one doesn't exist yet. Sideways break of this yellow down channel. There are second entries in here by the technical counts, because you could say it's a first entry short, second entry short, but it's just very congested. So I don't really want to try to take a trade in here, which is going to get whipsaw, pushes up to the high. Start looking like it's pushing down. Again, you could count for second entries, but again, these candles are just moving very tightly side by side with a gradual bias they can find. It's the low of day here. I thought this is another possible trade. So initially, this gray down channel was one of many trend lines. I had a few, like this yellow one here, it turns into a channel. I actually had, kind of just show you, and for myself, had something like this transparent one. Looks like it's cutting through. And at the time, I thought, let me just get rid of this, getting too messy. I thought this gray trend line coming down was a possible resistance. So localized low, first entry short, pullback, second entry short. Second entry short, break of this orange up channel, looking to the left, clearly things are pulling downwards. I did consider that there might be a potential bounce point here, but I like that, again, this candle engulfs the 3 previous candles. The only thing that would have made this absolutely perfect is if it closed at the low. And if it did close at the low, you have enough space for an easy 1-point scalp, which I was considering that would be for the day, because it's getting a little bit, just as it's showing, it's just really tight trading. So I just don't want to be in a trade longer than I have to. So I thought there might have been a possible trade here, and it would have been a 1-point scalp. Pushes down, new low, first entry short, and that's all you get. EMA is starting to act as resistance, continues moving down. At this point, I'm thinking, is there a yellow down channel, which is this guy here, as I just highlighting him through? Is there a potential down channel coming through? But it breaks to the low, and it hits sideways consolidation again, localized low, first entry short. Technically, you have a second entry short here. This range isn't fully developed yet for me to trust it as a possible range. And then it continues, small little break here, first entry shorts, makes new low, starts rallying up this green up channel. When I see this, I'm reluctant to try to take any long or predict that a reversal is coming up, because look how big this move was. This is probably 2 legs or maybe 1 big gray leg down. And there's just this tiny, small potential reversal starting. There's no clean trade right now. Breaks, looks like it was 2 legs up. It's a localized high. It's a first entry long pullback. Technically, you have a second entry long. This is looks like it's just 1 leg. It does bounce off the EMA. It did break this pink up channel. It could test the high. The thing I didn't like about it is this is a really nice signal bar, and it has the EMA. So except for those 2 factors, if you look to the left, you have a doji, a doji, a doji. This indicates this tug of war that's happening between the buyers and the sellers, and it's hard to really know which way it's going to break. This pink up channel doesn't have enough confirmations, in my opinion, to trust that it's moving up yet. Plus, to go long when you see this, after I just mentioned this clearly big push down, looks like it's 2 legs up. The attempts up could be exhausted, so going long just felt very risky unless I saw a higher low confirmation, and you don't really get a higher low. Starts moving down what I think is this yellow down channel, but also looks like it was more sideways here. He really only gets first entries here. It's like a first entry long, first entry short, first entry short, triple test, but there's no clean signal bar to try to go long here. He's pushing, You have a new low, say first entry short, pull back, second entry short. You have a lower high here. I thought the lower high was, I really wanted it to work, but I couldn't reconcile the fact that it's breaking out of this range now. It broke out, you could argue like two previous times, and this one's really decisive. The second time, it didn't have enough oomph. So this third time, is it going to be successful? I don't know. If only this trading range, was confirmed and much lower, like down here, then I'd feel confident taking the trade. But when it's just riding right at the lows, it makes me extra hesitant, extra cautious right here, because it could bounce and push back up. You could argue that this yellow down channel is in play and there's actual resistance here. And it's hitting the highs, the lows, back to the highs, back to the lows, kind of chopping sideways, but it's also moving in the sideways range. So it's just things that kind of made me unsure, because there's arguments to be made for both sides, arguments to go short and arguments to why you shouldn't. You should just wait and just see. So that's what I did. Pushes down on this orange down channel, hits a localized low, quadruple bottom here. First entry short. Technically, you have a second entry short here, but seeing this in real time, you fail breakout here. Looks like it's two legs up. It could see a correction. I just also didn't like those inside bar, so I don't know what to do with that. Then the follow through isn't that great. So now, do you have a failed second entry short? But then the failure doesn't look very clean either. So I ultimately decided there's nothing here. Then when this candle shows up, it just adds more ambiguity, because this is inside to this guy. It's not helping the case to think to go long or short. So the price is just kind of chopped sideways. It starts moving up what I think is this red up channel. Break. This could be attempt at the high, and I thought we're moving sideways right now. Pushes down, and this sets up another possible trade. Probably the only trade left that I thought was worth a potential setup, because I know after this, things didn't really pan out that well, or pan out for more, I guess, fruitful trades. So localized high, it's a first entry long pullback, second entry long failure right here. So in real time, I see this. I'm thinking, okay, it broke this red up channel. You could argue it made an attempt to test the high. This pullback is too much. This could be the second attempt to test this high, but it's not very strong, because you can tell it already failed. So it's a first entry long, second entry long failure. Break of this orange down channel needs to test the low, or should test the low. So this could be that attempt. This yellow down channel doesn't exist yet. So it's also the EMA, it's kind of flat, but you could argue it's somewhat relevant, not like other times where it's just completely irrelevant. I thought there was enough momentum, plus it's a good signal bar close to the low, enough for a 1 point scalp from here down to here. Going for 2 points feels a little sketchy, because you might hit a resistance, but definitely 1 point. 6 ticks, 1.5 points, I feel a little bit apprehensive about trying to do something like that. So I thought it's a possible trade. It would have worked. Pushes down, no clean setups. I don't see any clean second entries I particularly like. Breaks of this yellow down channel, test the low, no clean second entries again. Pushes down, looks like it was moving down this orange down channel. I tried to fit a larger channel to encapsulate all of this price action, but I couldn't get the swing highs to line up all that well. So I just treated it as two legs, and I just kind of sat and watched. So it hits a localized low. It's a first entry short. You could say maybe there's a second entry, but I'm not a big fan of these inside bars. I want the second entry short, at least to tick above the previous and then reverse back down. So it'd be like 1, and then there'd be a 2 with this one clearly decisively moving outside of this guy. Otherwise, these two candles, pretty much on a smaller tick time frame, is pretty much just ranging. So it looks like it is at least ranging in this purple sideways motion. Localized high, it's a first entry long pullback. You kind of have a second entry long, but it's not the cleanest. I'm not a big fan of this. It feels like you'd be picking the bottom, because you just saw previously it's a push down, 2 legs up. Now it's 2 legs down. It looks like it's just moving sideways. So no clean setups there. Pushes up on this green up channel, reverses back down on this orange down channel. And as you can tell, this is already 12:30. Price action pretty much after, I would say, the first 2.5 to 3 hours really slow down, because from this line, see if I can draw this. from here to about here is about 2.5 hours. And then the remaining 9 o'clock Pacific Standard to about 1 o'clock Pacific Standard, that is pretty much the last 4 hours. So this is 4 hours of trading all the candles in this region versus here. Things were really slowing down. I already kind of sat through really slow price action, didn't see any setup, so definitely wasn't going to try to hunt for something here in the last 30 minutes. There is a second entry long here, but again, inside bar, I'm not a big fan of that. Pushes down into your last 10 minutes. Last 10 minutes, I'm definitely not going to try to take a trade, especially when I don't have any reason to. So I just kind of chalk it up for a no trade day. And it kind of pushes down. It gives you kind of cleaner movement, but unfortunately just shows up in the last 10 minutes because this is right here with all these candles. Not saying there's a setup here, but the amount of candles printed, this is all within about a minute. So only this could have been more distributed to previous times of the day and might have yielded a little bit better or more setups, I guess. So ends up being a no trade day. It's okay because typically I think Mondays I I have a higher tendency of taking a loss on Mondays than I do throughout the rest of the week. I think it's because being off on the weekend, I get back and I feel like I want to get a good head start on things, and that's usually when I start getting sloppy and inventing setups that aren't there. So hopefully that was helpful.